This is Joe Adams, Director of Marketing at Fathom, and I'm joined today by Jeremy Mathis, an account partner. We're coming to you live from HMPS, the trade show floor. This is coincidentally our first trade show in person in more than 20 months. And let me tell you, it's both like riding a bike and learning how to walk at the same time. Jeremy and I are going to recap the first day, talk about some highlights, and then look ahead to the rest of the week. So let's start with, if I'm at home, my biggest curiosity, Jeremy, we're back in person.
It's been great. You know, you don't realize how much you miss and you crave that personal interaction and connection, until you're here and you're doing it live in person. The awkwardness of just, being together again and in a crowd of people and talking to people again, that wore off pretty quickly. And now it's just, it's excitement. I mean, you're able to truly connect with people and see that interaction that we've missed for, like you said, around 20 months.
So let's start talking about today's content by jumping ahead to the end of the day and the general session. That was hosted by Kaveh Safavi, and he hosted a conversation around the future of work in healthcare. Kaveh talked about the nature of work, the meaning of work, place of work, what the answers to those questions are today, and what they'll likely be in the future. A super thought-provoking conversation. First question, Kaveh shared a stat. He said 83% of workers in all industries want a hybrid model. They prefer a hybrid work model, the option to work from home. He also shared that 70% of people say that they're more productive at home. First question for you, Jeremy. Do you actually believe that?
Great question. I do, and I count myself among that 70%. Depending on the work you're looking to do. I think we all have those times where you need to be heads down and really focused in and knocking some things out. And I think for me, that being able to have that time at home has been really helpful as I look back over the last 2 years here. On the other hand, again, being in the office, having those drive-by moments with colleagues, being able to have impromptu meetings, I think has been really helpful. And again, as I mentioned previously, you don't realize how much you miss that until it's back and you're having it in person again.
It's hard to beat the 0-minute commute.
It really is, and the sweatpants. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a secret. No one's supposed to know about that. And so as we were talking about planning for this conversation, you had specified a theme that sort of emerged from that session for you and a few others. Can you share that theme and sort of what came out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've all felt it and we've all seen it, but just the stresses on the healthcare systems as far as resourcing and staffing, retention of employees, recruiting of employees, it is at an all-time high as far as intention from the C-suite. As we look at the workforce, especially among nurses, you have people who are getting to retirement age, they're aging out. You have people who are just flat out stressed out or burnt out after having to deal with COVID for the last 18 months. And so that's a big challenge that healthcare systems are facing. What's interesting is that, it's coming up here at a healthcare marketing conference, and if you think about that, us as healthcare marketers, that this is not a problem that we can necessarily solve, right? Like, we are going to need to really, partner with a lot of the operations folks in order to see this through. But I think what it does is it provides us with a really nice perspective to understand what's happening within our organizations. What are the challenges that we're facing outside of marketing's purview? And I think that is going to help make us better, stronger, smarter with the strategies we're putting out, what campaigns we're putting into market and why, and really making the most of our marketing investment with that lens in mind.
If a marketer comes to the table with a strategy that includes utilization opportunity as an input, that's immediately going to get the attention of leadership and position that individual for success. That totally makes sense. So if that's the general session, let's look back at the first day as a whole. We had about 5 hours of session content conversations. What's been a standout moment, a highlight from the day?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's really that personal connection. I mean, there are a lot of great presenters, a lot of great speakers here, a lot of really exciting things to talk about that you're going to hear from the people presenting. But that personal connection, I think, is something that's just unparalleled. To be able to look someone in the eye, have a conversation, understand what's keeping them up at night, what challenges they're facing, and knowing that we're all in the same boat as healthcare marketers, right? We're all facing the same pressure, the same stress. So how can we get better together? And I think that's the piece that I'm, really have gravitated to, and then I'm really excited to continue to look forward to here.
For me, a standout moment came from the session hosted by Pandora, and their head of healthcare, her name's Leanne, mentioned that marketers have always considered the customer, right, the brand, but the last 2 years have forced us to consider the environment, and that will be a consideration going forward. Totally transformed the way that we think about planned marketing strategy. It was just a note that's not going to leave me. So let's look ahead. 2 days left. What are you looking forward to?
I think being able to connect in person with a colleague, or peer who's facing the same challenges, that to me is what is most exciting about the next couple of days. You can't substitute for an in-person conversation with someone where you are really, talking about what's happening in the industry, talking about what's happening in your world, what you're facing. We've all done it. We've tried to do it via webinar, via Zoom, case studies, that sort of thing. But as we all know, there's no substitute for the real thing and being able to connect in person. So for me, that's something that's already been a highlight, and something that I'm really looking forward to doing more of here in the next 48 hours.
I can't wait to spend more time with you too, Jeremy. All right, now for your favorite.
Oh, here we go.
Favorite segment. We're going to do a little word association to wrap up. I'm going to give you a word, and you got 3 words or less. Let's go from the top. Miami.
Humidity.
That would have been my answer, too. 2022.
Hopeful.
HCIC.
Anticipation.
That wasn't so bad.
That wasn't bad, Joe. I was expecting worse.
That last topic was a little bit of a shameless self-promotion plug. Jeremy's actually going to be speaking at HCIC in Las Vegas in just about a month. And he's going to be co-presenting with our point of contact at Houston Methodist. A little sneak peek, Jeremy. What's the topic of conversation?
I had the privilege of presenting with Jeff Duncan from Houston Methodist Hospital, and the topic that we're going to cover is going to be, it's titled "The Incumbent Must Go: When to and How to Effectively Change Your Agency Partnership."
Risky conversation for us to participate in.
Absolutely, but a challenge that a lot of healthcare systems, healthcare marketers face, right? So I think it's going to be a really really nice interactive session. Really going to cover 3 things. First, how do you know when it's time to change your relationship? What do you need to look for, right? What are the signs that it might be time to start looking for another partner? Secondly, it's how do we get the most out of that partnership, right? How do you what's the process to find the right partner, and how do you make that process more effective than just a straight RFP that we've all dealt with? And then lastly is how to get started from day one. So one of the biggest challenges that we can face is seeing a gap, right? Or seeing things fall between the cracks a little bit when you're changing from one partner to another. And I think Houston Methodist pulled together a really nice way to avoid that pitfall that a lot of us have seen. And so we're going to talk through how to do that and get a lot of interaction from the crowd. So definitely excited to move that forward here in about a month.
That sounds like a super relevant topic that every marketer could benefit from hearing. So hopefully we'll see you in Las Vegas for HCIC. If not, look forward to the recap that Jeremy and I will share afterwards. On that note, that's all the time we have for today. Stay tuned if you enjoyed the conversation for the recap tomorrow.